I just have a large coffee, black.
108, first window.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning, thank you too. Oh, that's hot. So there's coffee drinkers, there's coffee addicts, and there are coffee lovers. Personally, I consider myself to be a coffee lover. In most situations, I brew my own coffee at home. Every morning, I've got my little grinder, I got my beans, grind it up, brew it up, and enjoy it. That's my morning start. I don't generally tend to drink coffee again during the day unless it's maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm dragging just a little bit. I might have a small cup of coffee at work. For me, it's black. Black coffee, black as night, black as your soul. That's how I drink my coffee. On occasion, however, it becomes necessary to stop and buy coffee somewhere. Be that a chain restaurant, be that a drive-through. Becomes a necessity once in a great while. Today was one of those days. So I'm going to break down my top 5 choices on where to get your coffee when you're out and about. Number 5 may be one of the most popular coffee places in the country, and for me, popularity does not necessarily equate to quality, and that's going to be Starbucks. Now, the cliche joke about Starbucks is that it's overpriced and not as good quality. To me, that's not a joke, that's kind of the truth. I think that Starbucks is more concerned with their image and more concerned with their brand than they are with actually producing quality coffee. It's a thing where they want you to think that because they put so much into their branding that the coffee must be great. So number 5, if you really absolutely have to get a coffee when you're out and it's a desperation move, I guess Starbucks is acceptable because it's quick, it's easy, it is overpriced, and I guess it's passable. Number 4 for me is going to be tried and true Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is a perfectly serviceable cup of coffee. It's a reasonable price. It's decent quality. I do find, however, that every time I go into a Dunkin' Donuts, the people that work there seem miserable, and I don't really understand why, but nobody's ever really happy when I go into a Dunkin' Donuts. It just it feels like the workers don't want to be there, and they've just had a really tough day, and they just want you to take your cup of coffee and get out of the restaurant. The coffee, again, it's acceptable. It's decent. There's nothing really wrong with it, but there's nothing really special about it either. Number 3 for me is going to be a regional player. It's actually coffee that I can't get up here in my part of New York without going to a grocery store or a specialty store where they happen to sell it. But out in the Midwest, for a couple of years I lived in Ohio, and there's a regional player called Caribou Coffee. And if you've ever had Caribou coffee, it's actually pretty decent. I think that my wife and I discovered Caribou coffee right about the time that I was starting to become a coffee lover. And, having that coffee for the first time as compared to the stuff that I was brewing at home was a revelation. It was really a big step up in quality. It was really good. I do remember it being a little bit pricey at the time, but it was a coffee that kind of changed my perspective on what quality coffee was supposed to be. So for that reason, I'm happy to go ahead and elevate Caribou coffee to number 3 on this list. Number 2, I'm going to bring you Tim Hortons. So Tim Hortons, Canadian company, kind of a regional player up in the Northeast. Tim Hortons makes a pretty decent cup of coffee. The price is reasonable. Being that they are Canadian, which is very odd because now they're based in America and they've got American workers, but their people always seem to be in a better mood than, for example, the people that I run into at Dunkin' Donuts. Restaurants are kind of simple, not overly fancy. Everything's brown and beige, and they've tried to get into the specialty coffee game and sell you whipped cream lattes and all this other crap. But at the end of the day, if you want a simple cup of hot black coffee, it's really good stuff. Decent quality, decent experience. You're not paying for the ambiance, and you can walk out fairly well satisfied with what you got. So that's going to bring me to number 1. of the best coffee to get when you're out and about and you gotta get a cup of joe. This choice may surprise some people, but quite frankly, for me, number one, if I have to get coffee from a regional chain or a drive-through restaurant, it's gonna be McDonald's, quite frankly. McDonald's only got into the coffee business a couple of years ago too, maybe 5-something years ago. I didn't think much of it at first when I heard it. I go, oh great, you would think it'd be just as good a quality as a McNugget or a McShake or a Mc whatever the hell they're going to cook this week. Now, I'm sure there's some folks out there that may look at this and go, you are out of your freaking mind. In a very short period of time, I want you to go get a small cup of Starbucks coffee and a small cup of McDonald's coffee. And I want you to have a friend or a family member do a blind taste test for you. 2 plain cups, right? You have them pour in the coffee from each one so you can't see it. No looking, no peeking, no cheating. If you're not a purist like me and you need cream and sugar, fine, have them put cream and sugar in it to your taste. And then without being able to see the brand names, you try it out. Post your response in the comments below and tell me, was that Starbucks coffee really as good as you think it was compared to the McDonald's cup that I paid $1 for? So since I talked about competing brands, naturally I have to say that this video is certainly not sponsored by any one of these corporations. Nobody paid me to talk about coffee. I'm a coffee lover, and I just wanted to share with you my perspective on what good coffee is. That said, I want to give special mention to a very small coffee player that I think you may want to check out. Go online and search for a company called Death Wish Coffee. What they do is they actually super roast their beans to like the darkest, shiniest jet black bean you've ever seen in your life. And they somehow infuse twice the amount of caffeine into the bean that would have been there normally. This stuff will knock your socks off. This is the Monster energy drink of coffees. It's really pricey, so it is a specialty luxury item. It's not something you're going to drink all the time. But just for a cool, fun experience, it's something to definitely check out and grab a bag. What's your favorite cup? Where do you get your Joe? And how do you take it? Post in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter and show me a picture of your cup. Thanks for coming along and enjoying a hot cuppa with me. Please like and subscribe on the video. Help us grow the channel. Thanks again for watching. And I'll see you on the road.